If there is an image to define this trip so far, well, this is it. A surprise for sure, and such a reflection of the quirks of history. Because Ahmed al-Shara is now the Syrian president, but he was an Islamist commander, aligned to al-Qaeda, a militant who fought the Americans in Iraq, jailed by them in the notorious Abu Ghraib prison. There was no sound on the images released, and so we don't know what they said, but as an indication of what seems uncharacteristically to be Donald Trump's message here of cooperation, opportunity, looking forward, it had all that.
But you have to stay down. You have to stay down. I'm working with you.
There is a tussle on this trip.
He has to stand. Down.
To decipher what the American president is up to here. Because at face value, we're getting a fresh vision of his foreign policy worldview. And it is at odds with Trump, the disruptor. The morning meeting with Gulf Arab leaders was about investment first, but under it, geopolitical cooperation. The two go side by side here.
And I think
And after the opulence and business deals of day one, it was more about the diplomacy on day two. A nuclear deal with Iran, maybe, and Israel, Gaza.
In Gaza, my administration shares the hope of so many in this region for future of safety and dignity of the Palestinian people. But that cannot happen as long as Gaza's leaders take delight in raping, torturing, and murdering innocent people. Can't have it. I greatly appreciate the constructive role that the leaders in this room have played in trying to bring the terrible conflict to an end.
That was it, though, publicly at least, on Gaza, the elephant in every gold-gilded room he went to. The farewell from the Saudi Crown Prince reflected the closeness of this relationship, the trappings of power shared. On the flight to Qatar, a few words on the meeting which defined the day.
How did you find the Syrian president?
Great. I think very good. Young, attractive guy, tough guy. You know, strong pass. Very strong pass fighter.
Does that worry you at all?
He's got a real shot at pulling it together.
And then jet escorts again, this time above the Persian Gulf. And from Air Force One, he arrived into Doha, into the hands of the royal family who want to give him a new plane. And he hasn't just brushed aside the conflicts of interest, he's doubled down here, insisting it is all fine. At the Emir's palace, a sword dance, camels, and Arabian horses to greet a motorcade led by Tesla Cybertrucks. Qatar hitting all the right buttons for the American president. But beyond all that, this leg of the trip is less about trade and about money and more about geopolitics, because Qatar has proved itself to be a country that's capable of doing delicate diplomatic deals in a way that few other countries can. On Gaza, Qatar has been the intermediary between the Americans and the Israelis on one side and Hamas on the other. The hostage negotiations have been driven from here. Hamas has a political office here. And Trump's chief negotiator, Steve Witkoff, he is here too. You have to wonder what progress on ceasefire talks are behind this hug. We don't know, because it was all about the decor here.
As a construction person, I'm seeing perfect marble. This is what they call perfecto.
Then a hint on another challenge and the prospect of a Zelensky-Putin meeting this week.
I know you're very much involved in helping us in other regions, like what's happening with Russia, Ukraine, etc. And I think we're having some pretty good news coming out of there today and maybe tomorrow and maybe Friday, frankly. But we'll see about that.
The evening, as it was last night, was a state dinner for the American president and his guests. Mark Stone, Sky News, in Doha.